I get to introduce all the architects tonight. Ellen did get her bio and all of her images in well in advance of the deadline. She's awesome. Danny was awesome though too, right? Yeah. I would not put the dog in that car though. So Ellen Bailey Dickson is the founding principal of Bailey Edward. She holds a Master's of Architecture degree from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Yeah? Oh, yeah. And she studied at, this sounds fancy, the École des Architectures, I think it means de urbanism. De urbanism. In Versailles. Française. She's been recognized by the American Institute of Architects here in Chicago as the Young Architect of the Year. She is one of AIA Chicago's newest members of the College of Fellows, and she's named one of the top 100 women making a difference by today's Chicago women. She is going to make a difference to you for 400 seconds right now.
I'm told that when I move my lips, the thing starts, so I'm really a ventriloquist right now. Let's go. Asymmetry represents my love for all things different. And we start here with a picture of my dad, an Idaho farm boy on his way to England to be an airplane mechanic. He came back speaking 3 languages and went on to become an English professor. My family thinks he was a spy. My family also is one of the loves that I feel makes me different. I was born in Brazil, the 4th child of Mormon parents who ended up being agnostic and atheist. Also, I was in the shadow of Oscar Niemeyer's work in Brasilia. This was something that made me completely different from those in Southern Illinois. Continuing on as an adult, my current difference is I love curling. And believe it or not, this took me to the south of France for a tournament or a bonspiel. And on the way, my husband and I made a beeline to Barcelona so that we could see the different architecture of Antoni Gaudí. Now you have to realize that this man practiced between 1880 and 1925. So the women were wearing skirts down to their toes on a regular basis. He is a phenomenal architect, or as Peter would say, he's fucking genius. He has storybook architecture. It's just something that still is amazing to this day. And he creates such a joy and a love for architecture within myself and within everybody who walks through it. And I started to wonder why this was, and I decided it's asymmetry. It's the fact that you can take something and you can have it twist, and I also decided that it wasn't for the phallic symbols that he puts into his architecture, honestly. He does not stop designing, and I wanted to say, okay, I'm going to go and prove this, that asymmetry rules the world. So I started with my English professor father influence, and I looked at the words for asymmetry and the words for symmetry and their inspiration to me, and I said, Oscar Niemeyer, he knew it all. It's dynamic, it's unusual, it's a mysterious thing, and everything you can see as I pick out the symmetrical words is very boring and mundane. And I realized I'm supposed to love Notre Dame as an architect. Oh, excuse me, did I have a little bit of a moment there? Corbusier, Ronchamp, this is one of the most elegant buildings, asymmetrical in every form. I'm supposed to love the Mona Lisa. I fought through the crowds at the Louvre. I went there and had another moment. But I went to the Musée Marais in Barcelona and saw this Weeping Mary. This is outsider art. It is so stirring and so emotional. So I went back to some of my fabulous pictures from my Barcelona trip, and I said, yes. Oh no, those figures are symmetrical. What am I going to do? This tipsy-turved everything that I had thought of. And I said, I've got to go back and I've got to look again. And I went back to some other pictures, and here are some sweet, beautiful busts, again from the Musée Mare, which you should visit if you ever get a chance. This man has more paper models than you have seen tonight, absolutely. Symmetry, facial symmetry is beauty. That's what they say. So I looked at some beautiful people. In the middle are their faces, and I saw if you do a left flip and they mirror their faces, and a right side flip and mirror their faces, George Clooney is not symmetrical, but damn is he good looking. Now, Uma, I think I can give her a pass. So here's another gentleman. I said, can the grotesque be made beautiful by making them symmetrical? So I did the same trick. The middle is the actual carved cast, and then the two are the symmetrical images, left, left, flip, right, right, flip. Not even symmetry can make this gentleman beautiful. And then I said, can symmetry make the scariest man, Donald Trump, beautiful? Left, left, flip, right, right, flip. It couldn't do it for me. But then I stopped and I said, maybe beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So I took some of my own work and I said, let's test this. Let's see what symmetry can do. The middle is a ceiling for an Ismaili house of worship in Glenview. And when I did the left, left flip, the right, right flip, I kind of saw Satan. So I said, no, I'm not comfortable with that. I looked at one of our works for Kankakee, the National Guard, and I said, you know, there's still something that I like about this asymmetry, this counterpoint of this glass wall that's supposed to be like camouflage for the military against this solid black image. There's something in this other religious facility where we took this triangular granite shape and we slashed at the corner of it to open it up for viewing and pleasure, and we did these dripping windows in the granite that I thought, this has got something to it. You know, is it asymmetry? That's definitely not symmetrical. And then the last one is the design that we just recently did for an addition to the Daily Library down at the UIC campus. And counterpointing that Walter Netsch building, the rigid symmetry, the rigid proportions, with this snaking type of form that's much lighter and hopefully brighter. And I realized what I really like is that architecture creates emotion. And that architecture and Gaudi's work makes me curious. It makes me happy. It makes me stop and think about the world and about the environment about me. And most of all, I realize that asymmetry and symmetry can live side by side. But the biggest thing I learned is I like myself a bad boy. Thank you.